And for our next session, thank you for joining in. We have Aatmn Parmar. Just a little about her. Aatmn Parmar is a homeopath, hypnotherapist, spiritual leader, and author of The Radical Crystalline Mind and Hello, This is Money Speaking. She has helped many through her online and on-site courses, empowering them to know themselves better and honoring emotions. Easy and effortless and a lot of fun. That's what life and healing life's issues become. When Aatmn guides us with amazing Redikall, the self-help management system that she is the founder of. And in today's stress-packed competitive environment, anxiety builds up and can make life miserable, difficult to cope. So I welcome Aatmn today to share her unique and easy to use self-help techniques for anxiety management. Over to you, Aatmn.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you for this introduction. I can see a lot of people and familiar faces. It's a pleasure to know that you still want to learn after almost everything I've already taught. My journey begins with a normal young girl in a very disciplined family who expected high level of discipline, as Mujib described. The first child, the first child syndrome, where parents want the first child to be perfect. And the reason given to me all the time is, you need to behave yourself, otherwise your sisters will do what you do. So it's not for anybody else, but for my sisters and my cousins, and so many of them. I had to be a role model, so I had to be perfect in many, many ways. That created so much of stress. Of course, I don't blame them anymore now, but now when I look back, I can only smile and laugh. However, it was a little difficult situation to show up and be the perfect one or the good girl one. And, there's whenever there's a mismatch between who you are and what you're expected to be, sometimes you get into some sort of emotional disturbance. I didn't even know it was called anxiety. Today, I can look back and say, okay, every day in the morning, I had to, just wake up and think, what is it that I'm not supposed to be doing and I might end up doing? So how can I prevent myself from doing what I'm not supposed to be doing? Or what am I not supposed to be talking with the guests and relatives? And the list was endless. Yet it was a very comfortable and cozy childhood, but the seed for this emotions management probably came at that time, being the youngest child. I didn't have that kind of rapport to tell my parents that I'm feeling stressed. I remember telling my mom once that I'm stressed, and my mom poo-pooed the whole thing and it became a joke. I remember once telling my mom that I feel suicidal. I want to kill myself. I must be, 7 and 8? And my mom laughed and told the whole family, and they all made a joke out of it. And this is not the only family, right? All of us have gone through this. And it does happen that we as adults, we don't understand children, and children start feeling anxious, and the pattern continues even when you grow. For me, it became opposite. There was so much of stress that eventually I kind of shook myself out of it, and I said, I can't damn. To an extent that people would watch me, having fun just before exams, or even before the board exams. I would loiter around and people say, hey, what happened? Aren't you worried? Aren't you stressed? It's a board exams and all that stories. I would even go for a movie a day before and said, I don't really want to be there now. I will do what I feel like doing. And that's what changed the whole system for me. That was my way of coping up, but maybe it was more rebellious. There are better ways to do. And I'm sure all of you now know it. It starts with a breathing exercise and then a few statements, and of course, change in the lifestyle, as well as change in the way you perceive life. The ultimate healer for anxiety management is the raised consciousness, because all that you felt anxious about, you no longer feel so anxious now in retrospect, because you have evolved, you have grown, and now you wonder why, what was so great deal about it. Think back, go backward in time and imagine those days when you were in 10th standard, 12th standard, just before exams, how you panicked, if at all you panicked, and how you kind of stressed out yourself and the whole family because of your exams. Do you really find worth it? How many people have actually asked you how much percentage you got in 10th standard or 12th standard? Does that define you? Does that define your career? No, but at that time, it was fashionable to be anxious, worried, and full of stress. So anxiety also has become kind of a fashionable emotion, and a lot of us go through it pretty often. And we go through it for no reason at times, and at times for trivial stories. A guest arriving in the house, or you not being able to manage the time. Everything can be so stressful at times, and you don't even know how to perform without anxiety, because you believe that anxiety gives growth. Anyway, before I keep talking, I also wanted to know, why do you feel anxious? Quick question. Ask yourself, why do you, as an individual, don't generalize, as an individual, why do you feel anxious? If you can just write in comment, let's understand what are the individual reasons for anxiety. What triggers anxiety in you? Fear of judgment. Status. Interesting. How to correct past mistakes. Time management. Not being in control of self emotions. Now, for no reason, probably when things don't go with perfection. Rest of the people, I wonder whether they're not, lack of trust, that gives anxiety. Okay. Not sure when I'm unable to manage time. Yes. Perfection, fear of failure. What else? Making mistakes. Lack of confidence and time management. Gunjan says, not sure that when I get to what I want and it's a right choice to make or not. The decision making gives you anxiety. Lack of confidence in time management, overwhelmed with too many things. Feeling unwanted. Okay. All right. Overwhelmed, fine. Got the idea, got the gist of it. Waiting for the wait to end, feeling unsafe. Yeah. Okay. Fear and family pressure. All right. Good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this. What is common amongst, what is the one common thing that gives you anxiety? One commonest thing. Fear of the possibilities that you would like to avoid. What if this happens? That question is there. What if things happen the way I do not want it to happen? That's a main theme. Okay. So say, for example, you are getting anxious about time management. The fear is, what if I cannot manage on time? All right. If you're anxious about perfection, what if I make mistakes? If you're anxious about decision making, the fear is, what if I take a wrong decision? If you're anxious about success, what if I fail? And if you're anxious about past, what if my past affects my current moment or future? So what is common is what if this happens? So anxiety is all about avoiding what can possibly happen. And if that is so simple, would it not be simple to embrace what possibilities or whichever possibilities you're trying to avoid? The more you embrace so-called adverse possibilities, lesser would be your anxiety. Isn't that so simple? At least theoretically or logically, if you found that, if you understood that, the main principle, no? Just raise your hand so I know, okay, fine, you've got it. No? Okay, Sophie got it? Okay. Only 2 people got it. Should I repeat again? I repeat? Okay. So let's take Shikha. Okay. Shikha, would you like to just come forward and let me, where are you?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I put you in spotlight? Is that
Yes,
okay?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's take an example. What do you feel anxious about?
Now there are lot many things I feel anxious, like time, not able to complete the work at a on the given time, or maybe perfection. The biggest thing is perfection.
What would happen if you're not perfect?
Then I myself will not like it, or somebody will say me something, and things will not look good as I want them to look good. I will not get the appreciation. Yes.
Get the appreciation. What would happen if you don't get appreciation?
Then I'll feel deprived.
What would happen if you feel deprived?
What will happen if I feel deprived? I'll feel lack of being recognized.
Okay. What would happen if you go unrecognized?
I'll feel lost.
What would happen if you feel lost?
Okay. I'll feel that I'm nowhere. I'm nothing.
What would happen if you're nothing?
If I am nothing, I'll feel miserable, sad, so miserable.
What if you can just embrace and accept that nothing you, that nothing Shikha.
I can't. I want Shikha to be something.
You know, everything is possible from the point of view of nothingness.
Yeah, like now since I'm with you. So yeah, I know that. But still, this is my own ongoing thing.
Action is possible from nothingness.
Okay.
So nothingness is not a bad state to be in at all.
Yeah, but somehow I feel you think that ways, but 99% don't feel that ways. I'm sure here also people nodding their head, yes, 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 will also not feel that ways after the session is over.
Then worrying about 10 things that you feel anxious about. Okay. How about we work towards embracing and accepting that nothingness? It's very deep, but yet very profound. Most of us, we work towards shaking off the tree, you know. So peripheral thing won't work. But if you shake off the tree, rest of the peripheral things will get sorted out. Your core is fear of avoiding feeling nothing. And you work so hard, you put in so much of effort to avoid feeling nothing. But one fine day, if you can embrace and accept, it's okay if Shikha is nothing. And trust, you're not going to be there forever. It's just
Okay.
once accepting. We are so scared of accepting few things. Let me explain to you. Most people who are perpetually anxious, they are avoiding certain experiences. And the more they try and avoid certain experiences, the more they think of those experiences. So I'm sure, Shikha, after working so hard, doing your best, being perfect, multi-talented, multitasker, you still go back to a point where you feel nothing and not good enough.
It's very true. Very, very true.
Because your whole attempt is to avoid feeling nothing or not good enough.
Yeah.
And you need this nothingness and not good enough to evolve in life.
Okay. So feeling nothing, I know it's kind of positive and it's like negative feeling also.
Yeah.
So working on negative feeling is good.
Yeah. It's good. There's nothing like good and bad. It's just an
Yeah.
experience. And you need that experience at soul level for some reason. Maybe to remain humble, maybe to continue growing.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like that is ringing bell in my mind.
If you just have one canvas and you want to create, you have to clear the canvas and let that canvas be nothing.
Okay.
Because the canvas that is nothing can create so many possibilities. But canvas that has something has limitations.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Now think of yourself as nothing and see how it feels. Just imagine what happens to your body when you say, I'm nothing.
I'm flying in the universe.
How do you feel?
I'm
Light?
feeling very light.
Awesome. Now imagine not being able to do things perfectly as others expect you to. One scenario. A daily routine, perhaps a cooking meal, which is not appreciated. How does it feel?
So now I am feeling like 50% of me is feeling that's okay if not, it's not happening the way it should be.
Mm-hmm. And the 50% of you, just tell that 50% Shikha who's stressed out, tell her it's okay to be nothing. It's okay. We'll create something out of this nothing with full joy and not out of anxiety.
So there is a current, a wave going inside my body. It started from the feet and it has reached up till my shoulders.
Mm-hmm. What is that 50% Shikha who's stressed out feeling like? Who was stressed out? Is she still very stressed? Who's still anxious?
No, not that much anxious.
Yeah. Tell her it's okay to be nothing, because nothing can create many things. Just tell her, I love you, even if you're nothing.
So now I can see some elderly figure who I'm holding the hand, and I'm very happy, and I'm small, like maybe 6 or 7 years or 5 years, and I'm hopping around and I'm feeling very happy.
Hmm. Lovely. Let's go to the next day. Okay. Being nothing, now you cook for the family. There is no stress of performance, but it's because you're okay being nothing. You're okay even being not good enough, it's fine. That child who's exploring different ways to make the meal, not wanting to please anyone, but very pleased by doing what she's doing.
So I can feel that people around me are saying ki it's not good and this and that, but there is a kind of naughtiness, and I'm eating that food with a happiness and not bothering what they're saying. Rather, that is making me more laugh.
Let's see what happens after a week of this attitude. Cook being nothing, but look forward to various possibilities.
So I can see a very funny thing. I can see that everybody is shocked and surprised. We are scolding her and she's not reacting back, and she's calm and she's smiling. Like they are like, what happened to her? Why she's not reacting badly? So I can see myself doing my things in a more organized way and doing it on time, though I don't want, but things are going as I wanted them to go earlier. So now I'm not stressed and my things are going very fine and very clear, and I'm a different person.
Watch yourself again in the kitchen. Feel that nothingness. And as you begin cooking, feel love for your family members. Open your heart and see what happens that day.
So I have cooked bad food because I don't know. I have not cooked good food. I myself is not liking it that much, but nobody is complaining. Everybody is having it, and well, they're not finding it bad. Also, it's not as per their taste, but then nobody's saying me anything.
Let's watch you after a week of practicing cooking, being nothing but full of love for people who might eat.
So they're eating that food, and a sense of relaxation, or maybe some sort of satisfaction is there in their mind. I'm not able to express. The food is not as per their taste, but still they are eating as if nothing. It's like it's good food, and they're feeling. Actually, different people are feeling different things. Like I can see somebody is feeling love out of it. It's a good food, and somebody is who keeps on criticizing, is not saying anything. They're just eating, and they're busy in their routine and all.
How's Shikha?
Shikha is very happy, very relaxed.
That's what matters, right?
Yes.
Anyway, people who judged and criticized, they did it even when you were stressed.
Yes. True. So nice. So beautiful.
Was it liberating enough?
Yes, very much, very much.
Yeah. So to avoid one experience of life, we spend lifetime feeling anxious and worried because that experience in the past was terrible. Or you've been made to believe that it's terrible. Perhaps that experience your parents wanted to avoid. For example, failure is terrible. Okay, you've been told that it's terrible to fail. To avoid failure, you work so hard, you feel so anxious, you turn your life upside down, you even spoil your health at times, you spoil your relationships with yourself, forget about others. What if we can embrace one fine day? This is what I learned right from childhood. Avoid nothing, embrace everything. Because when you avoid, you're focusing on the same, you're inviting the same. And in spite of working so hard, you again get the same. However, if you master the art of just embracing that one experience which you wanted to avoid by hook or crook, and if you just embrace it and say, it's okay. After all, it's not so bad. Protecting yourself from that experience which you didn't want to go through is so terrible, which we don't realize. And that would be a true remedy for your anxiety. Over to everyone. I know I'm going to raise a lot of questions because most people, when they feel anxious, they basically want to avoid few things. And that's why they want to be. And it's so difficult to even think of, to go through what you've been avoiding. Okay. And even imagine, forget about living life. You can't even imagine. However, let me tell you, the day you stop yourself and embrace the unavoidable, you're liberated. The life is free. It may appear terrible for a few seconds, few hours, a few days. And then you get used to. Nothing stops. You can look back in your life. Probably you've avoided and you went through. And when you went through, nothing really mattered. When you went through, you wonder, why the hell did I wait such a long time to avoid, to keep avoiding? What all have I put in? How much have I invested? How much I have felt stuck trying to avoid one thing? Because when you resist something, even you're stuck in life. So the discussion is open. Now, I'll give permission to unmute on your own. Yeah, you can unmute yourself. You can raise your hand and unmute and talk also. But if you want to type, it's fine. Are we releasing the expectations of self? Yes, being failure, full of love, is my soul's love. Yes, why not? Experience unavoidable things with love is soul's love. Yes. Go through.
Aatmn, can I say?
Yeah, sure. Who's this? Sorry.
What example you took and
Uh,
the way you explained,
uh,
it has become so much clear in my mind. The thought which was prevailing in my mind and troubling me, I'm out of it. Honestly, it's only embracing and accepting.
That's
That
it.
that's it. Thank you so much, Atman. I'm so grateful to you. I I I don't know. I couldn't get the answer myself. Thank you so much, dear. Thank you. God bless you.
So, in a nutshell, most of the time we feel anxious because we want to avoid a particular experience. And what you think you're avoiding is not really what you're avoiding. You're avoiding something else. So as we spoke with Shikha, thank you so much, Shikha, for coming and sharing. You've been amazing.
Ma'am, all the pleasure is mine. Please don't say thank you to me. I am so thankful that you have chosen me. Thank you so very much.
So, like for example, Shikha, for that matter, she thought she's avoiding this. Ultimately, she was avoiding being nothing. Okay. And being nothing is not at all bad. Trust, when you will be one, you'll be so liberated because now you have no tags, no labels, no beliefs, nothing. Just be that nothing. And if you love and accept and embrace yourself being who you are, everybody around you will love you the way they are. Nowadays, I'm just going through this Insta reels, and the most loved and cherished reels are not from perfectionists. They're creating reels anywhere and everywhere, but they're just being themselves. They're not the millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires and shooting the reels in the posh localities. They're on the roads, they're on the streets, but they are genuine, they're authentic. They like what they do. You can see that glow, you can feel the joy and a pleasure. You see some of those videos and some of the channels getting so popular. Nothing. From nowhere you would say that it's a piece of art or nothing. They're just being themselves. So be yourself. It's okay. Don't get into the rut of avoiding an experience. When you actually go through it, you realize it was nothing. Why did you wait such a long time? Why did you spend so much of energy in investments? Okay. As you were demonstrating with Shikha, I worked on my rejection and loneliness, lots of love and pranam. Yes, if you can. I personally did that. I mean, this, when I described about my childhood, from expectations of being Miss Perfect to being okay, not being perfect, and that was a journey. But trust, when it was okay not to be perfect, I was so much more functional. I could do so many things because I didn't have to wait to be perfect, to show to the world that, oh, I am Miss Flawless. I'm okay. I'm human. I make mistakes. However, I don't have to wait till the time I become perfect, because if I would have waited to be perfect, I wouldn't have done anything. I would have been paralyzed till now. That doesn't mean the perfection shouldn't come. Later, of course, it began with a rebel. Later, I started excelling and doing better and better, not because I was worried about who'll say what. I just wanted to be sensitive to people who like systems, who like perfection, who like to see things in a better way. Keeping them in mind, I started doing better and better, and I started attracting people who helped me streamline, so-called closer to perfection. PNL's here who edits my content. Carol is here. They regularly find faults, quietly just pass on that look, that language, that spelling, that is incorrect. And I correct it. I don't want to play a rebel anymore that I care hoots. I do put it, not because I'm worried about people criticizing or judging. I do it because I'm concerned about people who may keep it aside thinking that this is not a very sincere attempt, or, this looks very frivolous. Or I know I've worked with few people who are perfectionists, and if there are flaws, they feel very destabilized from within and they can't get the essence right. So for them, for sure, I do go through several checks. I give free hand to people to correct, but I'm no longer stressed out. I'm no longer worried. What if things go wrong? What if things don't happen on time? What if people don't turn up? Nothing. Okay, we'll see what to do as and when it happens. And that was a point of liberation for me. And trust, all of you can feel that kind of liberation. The day you start embracing and accepting you the way you are, and all the possibilities that may come along. All right. So that's the main thing. Of course, there are plenty of soul's love and a lot of radical statements that can instantaneously bring the anxiety down. However, it's going to be temporary. You will again feel anxious and worried till the time you eventually learn to be who you are and be okay. Have courage to embrace yourself and embrace all possibilities in life. And I can tell you from my experience that once you go through it, the life takes a U-turn and you have it everything. Like, for example, you're avoiding loneliness and you fight tooth and nail to avoid loneliness. You remain in everyone's good books. You allow yourself to be exploited, overused. Okay, you allow yourself to be taken for granted. You please everyone and nobody cares to please you anyway. You share all that you have. You put in so much of effort, time, energy, money to maintain people in and around you so that you never feel lonely. And yet, you know that you're still lonely. You could be with people and you're still lonely. The day you say, okay, fine, let me just be by myself and let me embrace and accept. Because in any case, when I really need somebody, nobody is there. Everybody comes to me, uses me, and moves out. So getting worried about relationships, whether they'll work for me, they'll remain with me, they'll feel annoyed, they may reject. Oh, it's so stressful. How about just being okay about this loneliness? Spend few hours, few days, few months. Trust. It's so liberating. Once you spend a considerable time, just being by yourself, having nobody around. In fact, I proactively did that. I used to get fever with just one particular thought of possibility of being lonely. So when I came across my, a particular turn of life where I realized I have to be lonely and there's nobody around and nobody for me, the first thing that I did is this one ashram in Gujarat, in Nadiad. I said, I've waited enough to make sure that I never feel lonely. Let me just embrace that. And I signed up. And normally there is a 2 years waiting list. And for some reason, I got admission in just 2 days. That particular ashram lets you get into a small little hut. There are huts, but self-contained huts, where all facilities are there. But the moment you enter, they lock you up from outside and do not open for 1 week. They only give you food, but in such a way that you can't even see who's given you the food. So the food supplied twice a day, and that's it. You're all alone. There are no windows. The opening happens in the sky, so you can see the sky, but no humans. There are no sounds, no noise, no entertainment allowed, no music, nothing. You just have to be by yourself. 7 days I spent in that hut and simply just embraced being on my own, alone. And that was so liberating. So take a proactive step in a very safe way to embrace all that you've been avoiding. How long will you work hard? How long will you continue being anxious? And how long you'll keep avoiding? Avoidance is more painful, more stressful than embracing. Embrace, move on, and you'll be amazed how later you attract beautiful opportunities. You don't have to be there. You don't have to get stuck there. You're stuck till the time you can't embrace. But once you embrace, you're no longer stuck. You can pass through that patch. And once you pass through that patch is over, because life is never constant. Avoidance of an experience keeps you stuck, gives you anxiety, gives you worry, gives you stress, gives you ill health, gives you so much of trauma and tension. Go through it, complete it. After all, you are here for experiences. Complete all experiences. And they're not going to remain same. Something else will come up. And it can be better than what it was ever. And it's up to you to make it better, right? Okay, so that's all from my side. I'm open to questions. Yes, Gunjan. Unmute and speak.
I'm not visible. Just a second. Hi, ma'am. I had one question. So, it's been a recurring pattern with my work. like I either get laid off or there are chances that I eventually get fired. So like I it's it gets very difficult, especially now that I have been with the company for long. I don't know like it'll happen or not happen, because I know that I'm getting recorded, and I shouldn't say the things which I shouldn't say. But all I want to ask is, I'm trying to like all this while I'm getting people who are saying that you are not enough, and you don't have A, B, C, which makes you right fit for the job. And that's the same thing which like I've been trying to avoid. And I mastered courage, and I am tired now. I genuinely am burnt out. So ma'am, how could you, I mean, usually able to apply the guidance you give, but how would you think in this particular situation? Please help me here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Most welcome. What you could do is, एक minute, huh? So Kunjit, you're not the only one, right? There are millions of people who are working and they always have a stress. What if I'm laid off? What if one fine day I go to my work and say, hey, we no longer need you? And people live with this perpetual anxiety, right? That's the biggest threat, and the beneficiaries are the employers. Okay. They don't let you be secure anyway. So let me tell you the games here. Okay. So if I have to, which I don't do it in my team, if I have to get the best out of my team members, I never make them feel secure, because I have a fear. I'm just saying as an employer, I don't do it. My team members are here and they know it. So as an employer, I never put the sword of fire, the pink slips, or, the threat of, firing people. No, I don't do it, because I know the flip side of it. But most people with old consciousness, when they want the best out of their children, their employees, from people around, friends around, spouse around, they'll make them feel not good enough. Because it's only, they think, which is not the right thing. But they think that if they make you feel not good enough, they'll do much better. No. I remember once I was interacting with one of my friends, management employee. I'd create some proposal. He hardly glanced to it and says, this is not right. Then she made me do it again. And she said, this is a strategy. It's a very famous management institute she belongs to. She's a professor there. She says, I'm nothing. My dean, he makes us do 5 to 7 times the same proposal. Okay, though she's a very senior professor, even she goes through that, through the head of the department, I mean, the ultimate administrator. He says, get work done. This is how it's told. And that's how it's, it's become a part of the culture. That, repeated rejection, repeated ways of making people feel that, oh, no, you're not good enough, will bring out the best in them. Now, what happens because of that? Now, I'm talking about employee side of it. So if I am an employee, and if I'm all the time worried about rejection or evaluation, judgment, being told that it's not good enough, you're not enough, my focus is not on the content. My focus is only on myself, on avoidance of rejection. And if my focus is on avoidance of rejection and non-performance, consequences, I'm not going to put my 100% in the work that I'm doing. Okay. So if I say, okay, fine, forget about it, at the most I'll get fired, but let me do what I feel and I can put in the best. If you can just liberate yourself from that constant threat of being laid off, you can be yourself. And if you're being yourself, you can present the best. You all have inner inspiration to be your best. If not, you continue inviting moments of desperation or the conspiracy sets in. I'm talking about your point of view as an employee. So if I'm an employee and if I don't follow my inner inspiration, because the soul is here to take me through places, to various experiences. Okay. If my soul wants to continue with this job, even if my boss cannot fire me, I'm going to be there because I have a pending experience there. But if my soul wants me to go places, all right, even if I try and hold on to this job, even if I'm best, and even if I do my best, I might just get laid off. And there would be something else opening up, and that's why this door is closing. And if it is closing, good enough. There's so many people who are fantastic performers, and yet they miss out on the job, right? And there are so many mediocre ones who cling on for years together. It has got practically nothing to do with the performance.
Thank you.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Now, I want you to think what would happen if your boss says, oh, you're not good enough, go. What would happen? You'll die in the streets? There's no way to go back anywhere?
Like, so there's something of a middle stage. And I don't want to use that word, but I have been put into that here according to the laws. So I have a choice to either take it or say no and put down my papers.
Advantages of being in that middle stage.
Come again, ma'am. You got disconnected. What were you saying?
What are the advantages? Just imagine being in that middle state which you wanted to avoid.
Advantages. Like I can be myself. Just because I have joined Redikall, like it comes very clearly to me. I don't like if I was old myself, I would have tried to prove, and like with full vigor. Maybe I will learn how to not be in fear and feel joy out. I might use this as a playground to do whatever I want to do, and in the meanwhile I have an idea what I have to look out for next. So it'll buy me time.
That's it. Why waste so much of time trying to prove that you're good enough?
Yeah.
If you direct this energy within to be truly good enough, not for others, for yourself, don't you think that would help?
Ma'am, it's just that like my approach is a little bit different. So you also come from medicine, right? So you are prescribing something, and imagine there is someone who's prescribing a separate thing. Nobody's answer is right or wrong, but my approach is not received well, and that's why I'm here where I am. In my field, it's like in everybody's, there's no right or wrong, right? So yeah, so I'm just worried, like if I take my particular manner of doing things, and because of that only I'm here where I am, because I never left it. I'm proud of it, that creative approach. So I'm just thinking, like if I take it again, it'll definitely lead to that one, because I'm in a state where they are okay to I'm saying this on, I shouldn't actually say this, but it's fine. Yeah. So that's the thing. But any which ways, we'll see. It's good to go through it rather than resisting it, is what I am getting.
Absolutely.
So we'll see.
Let's go through it. However, with an intent to have just first of all embrace and know that you're not going to be stuck, because what you feel is a rough patch can be pretty easy. If you wait to avoid rough patch, it can be very difficult. And you're not going to have that rough patch as your full life.
Yeah.
Very soon you'll get okay even with that.
Okay.
And if you'll continue moving, there might be much better path ahead. But avoidance of that rough patch will give you a lot of anxiety.
True.
Get in touch with your, when the anxiety calms down, you see the path clearly.
Hmm.
If you're too anxious, you don't know where to go.
Yeah.